It's Jason with Chicago News. This is the new 2017 Ford Edge. The Edge came out all the way back in 2006, so it's been with us for a while, but it was redesigned in 2015. A lot of people compare this to kind of an egg shape, but this gives it better aerodynamics to cut through the wind, which contributes to good fuel mileage. Ford was one of the first to bring a foot-activated tailgate to market, and it hasn't always worked the best, but in this one, it actually works really well. We talked about a number of Ford's innovations like the tailgate and the parking system. Another one that the whole industry is kind of following now is this capless gas fill, and it's really convenient. Really no need for a cap when you have this hinged door here. Really great innovation. So now that we're behind the wheel of this Ford Edge, you really can figure out why this is called the Sport model. This has got the 2.7 liter Twin Turbo Ecoboost V6, which actually makes great power and even makes a really cool sound. The base engine that you get at the starting price of actually just under $30,000 is a 2-liter 4-cylinder EcoBoost, which makes about 240 horsepower. This one makes 315 horsepower. They're both really fantastic engines, and there's a really wide price range here because our test vehicle is almost $50,000, about $47,000 for the Sport, all-wheel drive, twin turbo, just about every option in our test car, which is really a ton of features. You can go through what this thing has. It's got lane assist right now. It's keeping me in a lane. It's got collision avoidance. It's got blind spot monitors, rear view camera, navigation, really fantastic infotainment, heated and cooled front seats. I mean, the list just goes on and on. It's a lot of features packed into a fairly small SUV. As many features as there are available, there's also different trim levels available. You can get this in anything from, bargain basement all the way up to this model. And, the Sport moniker on our test vehicle, it's definitely sporty looking. It's got great, kind of body cladding. Instead of chrome, it's got black grille, some different features that really give it a sporty look. 21-inch wheels, but this doesn't really have an exciting handling chassis. Maybe it's just that it kind of lacks overall grip, and that could be from the tires that they've chosen. Ford's Sync 3 system really is a huge improvement over their previous generation systems, and the way that it displays in the gauge cluster here, you've got a center speedometer, an analog speedometer with a little digital display on either side that you can really tailor. You can put navigation or the audio system or whatever on the right hand side here. On the left, there's a bunch of information displays. Right now, we've got a puny little tachometer. I'd like to see a little bit better option there. Fuel gauge, a range indicator, and a lane assist that tells you when it recognizes the lane. I will say that the collision avoidance, the automatic braking, and the collision alert system is a little too sensitive here. If somebody's in front of you that's turning and you're coming up on them and you're going to clear them just fine, this thing will kind of go crazy and throw a bunch of red warning lights and beeps at you. These systems are fantastic and they're getting better all the time, but I think one of the keys to them is they can't be oversensitive, because you're going to be apt to want to turn them off then and not use them if they kind of interfere with your regular driving. Again, on the highway with the radar cruise control, if a car moves over into the lane in front of you, it kind of stops really abruptly as opposed to just kind of easing off. There's some other systems in a couple of other different manufacturer vehicles that are a little bit better than this. Another problem with these 21-inch tires on the Sport version, it definitely stiffens this ride up. You've got really low profile tires. Even though it doesn't necessarily handle like a sports SUV, which I can't even believe I'm saying, but it doesn't also have a very good ride compliance. So, you're kind of missing out in both areas. So the Sport looks fantastic. I just question the choice of the 21-inch wheel. As far as the interior goes, it's definitely laid out really nicely, but I wouldn't say they use some of the best materials here. The plastics are a little thin and cheap feeling in just about every area. It's a little bit of a letdown considering just how luxurious the features are in this car. You'd want the fit and finish of the interior to match that. By no means is it bad. It's definitely a step up in a lot of ways over some of the previous versions, but definitely some room for improvement. One of the better things about the interior, though, are these seats. They're extremely comfortable. especially in this model. The leather that they use is really soft. This is high quality material where it counts on the seat itself. A lot of people are after 3-row SUVs only. They've got lots of people to move around. So this being a larger 2-row SUV, the thing that really gives you is a lot of legroom in the back and a lot of cargo space. So this is kind of on the large side for 2-row SUVs, but that's kind of a unique place in the market for me. There's not a lot of other ones out there that are this size. So if you don't have as many people to carry around, you have maybe taller people to carry around, and you have a lot more cargo to carry around, this is definitely one to consider. Even with the fantastic power that this engine has, the Ecoboost technology, this turbocharged technology that Ford has been working on, means that this still gets 17 city, 24 highway, and we're seeing combined average of around 20, which is pretty fantastic considering the size of this vehicle and the fact that it'll do this. A couple of misses for us is the visibility out the front. The hood slopes away, which gives this its aerodynamic shape, but it kind of makes visibility on the corners of the front a little bit tough. And even though you're sitting high and have a decent view out further away from you, those corners of the car kind of disappear. That and the turning radius is a bit of a disappointment. You know, again, with all-wheel drive, maybe they had to limit the front lock, but it really end up making 3-point turns more often than you'd like to. All right, let's try out this fancy automatic parking system. Again, the car's doing all of this by itself. It's pretty amazing technology. You know, this is another innovation that Ford's really been on the forefront. A lot of manufacturers have worked on this, but Ford was one of the first to come out with this. Boom. It actually recognized that there was a driveway right there, parked us on the back side of the driveway. Really impressive stuff. So what do we think about this 2017 Ford Edge? Well, even though it's been around a while, it doesn't feel stale. It really fits a great place in the market, and combining a great price point with a ton of available features and a wonderful engine, there's a lot to like.